Welcome to the Nerd Party.
Scully,
Yes?
marry me.
I love you and I like you.
I love you and I like you.
I love that woman. I love her more than sharks love blood.
I love you.
You don't.
Hello, I'm Tristan Riddell,
And I'm the girl.
and this is Nerd Nuptial episode 39. Thank you so much for downloading our show, and thank you so much for going to thenerdparty.com to check out all of our other shows like Aggressive Negotiations, a Star Wars podcast, as well as Filibuster, which is our general geek podcast of the network. And thank you so much for also going to facebook.com/thenerdparty and hitting like, because that really helps us out. And thank you so much for going to iTunes and writing us a review, because we have a new one.
Yay, we do.
We love getting reviews from you guys, and so we thank you very much for doing that. Our latest review is from Sean Dorman, friend of the show and friend of us. He said that if you subscribe, you shan't regret it, I believe. Shan't is the word that he used, and that's, if you guys have heard Sean on the airwaves or know Sean, you know that he loves his words like shan't. Oh, well, this episode is dropping on Halloween, and which makes me a little embarrassed because
We didn't time it very well.
we did not time it very well at all, because last week I said, this is the last, Halloween episode of Nerd Nuptial, because I don't know how to read a calendar.
You kind of forgot that, this one would drop on Halloween.
That's so utterly embarrassing, because the entire month we're talking nothing but Halloween, and then I forget that Halloween's on a Monday, the day that Nerd Nuptial drops, and we don't have a Halloween topic for.
No, that's okay.
That's all right. We've done
We're
enough
moving on,
Halloween.
yeah.
We're moving on. You guys are, I'm sure you're sick of Halloween, or maybe you're not, but we love the season. In fact, we're actually podcasting across from our Halloween decorations on the dining room table. But what we are going to talk about today is, I guess, it's kind of like Halloween, because it's where children and adults go and dress up like cowboys and Indians and prostitutes and things of that nature.
Yes, because everyone just dresses up like those things on Halloween.
Well, if you go as a pumpkin, you go as a slutty pumpkin. If you go as a
That's
nurse,
right.
you go as a slutty nurse. If you go as a cowboy, you go as a slutty cowboy. And there are definitely
Slutty
a lot of slutty cowboys in HBO's show, Westworld.
That's right. The Slutty Cowboy.
The Slutty Cowboy. My new band name.
Yeah.
So yes, we're going to be talking about Westworld, and we're going to give you our impressions of the show, and then we're going to go into spoiler territory. And we have watched all 5 episodes. In fact, we just got done watching the latest episode, the 5th episode, called Contrapasso. And we're going to be reviewing that episode and talking about that. So if you have not heard that episode, if you have not seen that episode yet, then I suggest that you wait on this podcast and listen to it later. But we will let you know when we get into spoiler territory. Now, before we get into that,
Yeah.
what are we going to open up the show with?
We're going to talk about The Walking Dead and the first episode of this season.
Season 7.
That's season 7 that we watched. Yeah.
Now, specifically, what about...
Why we're stopping The Walking Dead.
That is right. Nerd Nuptial is stopping watching The Walking Dead.
That's right. Well, okay, so we watched the episode, most of the episode. We actually didn't make it through the whole episode.
I know. I know.
It made us too angry. So, I mean, again, spoiler alert.
Yes, this is spoiler for Walking Dead if you haven't seen it. Hopefully you guys have, because it's been a week.
It has.
Like, this is not yesterday's episode. We're not going to talk about the second episode of season 7. We're just going to talk about the opening episode of season 7.
Right, because we are stopping The Walking Dead.
Yeah, we haven't, I think as we're speaking, the episode is going on right now on AMC. And here's the thing is that, we've watched it since episode 1.
Mm-hmm.
We've seen every single episode. We've binge watched it. We've rewatched it multiple times, the entire series. And this was the straw on the camel's back for us.
Yeah, I mean, the show's progressively gotten worse and worse as far as violence is concerned, but violence doesn't really bother us too much. It's more about, certain things bother us more than others. Like,
Right.
like, gratuitous sex and, stuff like that usually makes us like not even go near a show. But when
or
you start
really vulgarity in all
vulgarity,
things.
yeah.
Like with action and violence, we can kind of get past it because it's zombies.
Right.
So like
It's
when you see
different.
the really gross stuff, like somebody's like head gets popped off or a zombie's arms flapping around,
That doesn't bother us.
it's a zombie. So
we can separate it.
but when it's like human on human violence, that's usually where we get a little.
Yeah, and obviously that's the way. I mean, I feel like zombies aren't hardly a factor anymore in
Not
The Walking
really.
Dead. It's more about the man on man action,
Phrasing.
man on man violence.
This is a family show, girl.
You're so mean. The moment it came out of my mouth, I was like,
You're like, no, bring it back.
come back.
Actually, friend of the show John yelled at me for phrasing in the previous episode because I said he was the man who did the Queen. And I was talking about the guy who wrote the movie The Queen.
Oh, really?
He's like, Tristan, phrasing.
That's funny. Anyway. So, the entire summer, everyone was wondering who had died, because we knew that a main character, had died.
Yeah, they left it on a huge
Right.
cliffhanger on this end of season 6.
Right, and everyone was angry. Everyone wanted to know. We weren't so much angry.
No.
We were kind of like, okay, well, someone's gonna die.
Yeah.
And it's time, because that happens on The Walking Dead.
Yeah, the cliffhanger did not make us angry.
No.
And we talked about this in a previous show. What made us angry is that it was a horrible episode. It was boring.
Right. It was not the typical Walking Dead finale of the season where you're on the edge of your seat.
Mm-hmm.
You've been waiting this whole time, and now you get this moment of like, yes, this is why I watched The Walking Dead. So, yeah, when Abraham died, how did you feel?
Oh, yeah, I guess, just to review,
Yeah.
like, anybody who's listening to this, like, has
Right.
seen Walking Dead, so knows that Abraham and Glenn bit the dust,
Right.
and they were brutally murdered
Right.
with a baseball bat by
How did you
Negan.
feel, though, about Abraham first?
Okay, here's the thing. Abraham dying, I called it.
Yeah, you thought
like
from the very beginning.
like when season 6 was over, I was like, it's gotta be Abraham. And even during the summer, I was just like, it's gotta be Abraham. And then when, like, at the beginning of the episode, when he centered him out, I was just like, oh, okay, I was right. Because here's the thing.
There's only a few choices they really have.
They really only had 3 choices, because here's the thing is that Rick, Carl, Michonne, and Daryl are all invincible.
They're safe.
There's no way they're gonna die. They're fan favorites,
Right.
And they're never ever 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 gonna die. And then you have the other people whose names I can barely even remember.
Exactly. Like your Rosita.
Yeah,
and-
Rosita and all those people.
Yeah.
They're not gonna die because no one cares.
Right. If they died, it'd be like, okay.
Yeah, exactly. Like if they're new people or sub characters, no one's gonna care. So the writers, it's not worth the writers to kill them off. And so that leaves you 3 people. That leaves you Maggie, Abraham, and Glenn. Maggie is pregnant.
Right.
There is no way in blue perfect hell that a writer, the show is, or even censors, if they even have any on AMC, is going to show the death by beating of a pregnant woman on TV.
Right. I mean, and already they put her through distress. Like she
Mm-hmm.
might be having a miscarriage. We're just not quite sure. Like something's messed up with her.
Right.
So, yeah.
So that leaves Glenn and Abraham.
It leaves Glenn and Abraham.
And then there was a fan theory over the summer that they said they're like, okay, it's not just going to be one person. Like
It
it's
has to
going to
be
be
more.
2 people because they're going to think that we're not expecting it. And so that's what people thought. They thought it was going to be Glenn and Abraham.
Right. And then it happened. Abraham's, I think because we talked about it before, it didn't bother me that much. I mean, sure, like I was like, well, he was a pretty good character,
Yeah.
so that's too bad. But he wasn't my favorite character.
Right.
So I was kind of okay with it. But also they did hit him and you saw the hit and everything like that, but you also like the camera kind of like went away when his head became like basically mush.
Yeah, it was a TV first strike where
Right.
you hit it, like he hit him, but you didn't really see contact, and then you just saw a little blood on his forehead, and then it was all the beating was off camera, and then they went back to clearly a dummy
Right.
that was like made of putty,
Right, exactly.
and then you're like, okay, well that's stupid,
right.
and then yeah,
Yeah. And then the thing, okay, so then, you have all this like, stuff with Rick, and he's thinking about all of his friends, and you're like, oh, and it's like, of course, leading to who is going to get hurt. And then Daryl, like, basically, doesn't he punch Negan?
He punches Negan.
And he didn't do anything about it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Here's the thing.
That really bothered me.
If the show really wanted to say something, really wanted to do something, they would have killed Daryl.
In that moment.
Done. And that's the thing.
But they can't get rid of him.
Nope.
Because people would revolt.
Do you want to know the real reason?
Why?
Merchandise.
That's true.
I guarantee you.
Everything has Daryl on it.
You walk into Hot Topic, and you and me, we know Hot Topic. Okay?
It's true.
You walk into Hot Topic, everything has Daryl's face on it. I played a zombie board game last night, and the host bought the prize. Whoever won the night would get this t-shirt. It was a t-shirt with Daryl's face on it.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
He's everywhere. He's like the Harley Quinn of Walking Dead.
Right. It's like you can't touch him.
No.
I mean, I remember when The Walking Dead came out, it was like, if anything happened, like, wasn't there a shirt that came out that was like, if you kill Daryl, we'll revolt, or we'll...
if Daryl dies, we revolt, or
something like that. Yeah, so you can't, and Michonne is just as cool, so you can't touch her. Rick is the star of the show. Carl's a kid. You've already taken his eye, so what are you gonna do?
Yeah.
So, yeah, okay. But Daryl, I mean, he was asking for it, and I feel like it's against Negan's character even to not punish that behavior.
Yeah. Like they tried to say like everybody gets one or something like that,
Whatever.
which doesn't
Come
really
on.
make sense.
Yeah, it doesn't.
But yeah, and so here's the thing: is like some people are probably screaming at us saying like, why is it just now that you're giving it up? I mean, we've seen violence before and everything like that. It's twofold.
Yeah.
It's the way that they did the violence, not just the act, but the way that they showed it, the way that they just threw it in our faces, and also thematically.
Yes. Okay, so last season, the big thing was, is Glenn dead? Is he dead? Oh my gosh. Oh yeah, he's not dead. Like this big twist, which he totally should have died.
Yeah.
Okay, so, and then this season, we just take him away like that, and there wasn't any prep for him to leave.
No, it made his journey back to Maggie completely meaningless.
Exactly.
It was a waste of half a season of Glenn's storyline. And it's not one of those things where it's almost if Glenn was journeying in that season and then right as he was about to make it to Maggie, he dies. That's something different.
Right.
Thematically, that's okay. But for him to journey, make it, rest for an episode or two, and then go on to the next season.
Right.
And then die.
And then we take him.
That's bad storytelling.
Well, and the way that they did it was just brutal for the fans.
Right.
I mean...
Glenn's a fan favorite.
He is a fan. He's been there from the very beginning. So when you see his eye fall out of his socket and him, like, trying to put sentences together, talking to his wife,
like gurgling blood, saying his wife's name. So his brain is shutting down, and we see every second of it.
Yeah, they go away from it.
Yeah, they don't cut away, and his pregnant wife is staring him down as he's being beaten to death, and as we're seeing it. I'm sorry, that was enough. That was enough. That was a step over the line.
Yeah, it was. And it's interesting because we were like, we can't be alone. So we like looked it up, and there was like lots of people who were complaining about whether they saw it. Like they basically like were complaining, oh, I totally saw that coming. Or they were saying, yeah, I'm not in this frame of mind anymore to like be able to handle this kind of violence. Like this is too far, which is interesting.
Yeah, I was really glad that we weren't alone because like we Googled it like we did, that's when we shut off the episode. We didn't see the rest.
Yeah, because there was something that happened with Carl.
Yeah, a friend of mine at work told me about it where they took it even further where Negan was trying to punish Rick and saying, okay, well, you have to chop off Carl's arm. You have to hack it off. And just before Rick, is about to do it, Negan says, nah, it's okay, you don't have to. And my friend told me that they drew it on for minutes and minutes and minutes. And that's the thing. This episode was not entertaining.
No, it wasn't. It was torture.
It was torturous. It was not fun.
No, it wasn't. It wasn't in the I don't know. It didn't feel like The Walking Dead. I mean,
No.
like again, like I feel like we've gone away from, and I get it. Okay, I get the fact that okay, as the danger happens, it's more about people. Okay, hurting other people. I understand that. We've gone through this before.
Right.
We've had the governor. We've had other
Terminus.
Terminus. We've had other villains like this, but now it's just to this point where it's not fun. It's not enjoyable.
Like, we're not seeing the endurance of the human spirit.
No.
We're seeing it beaten down.
Yeah, and I think also in today's climate, it's like we can't take it anymore.
Yeah, I mean, like every single article we read on the subject, I mean, that was the top USA Today headline was Did The Walking Dead Go Too Far? Almost, I'd say like 80% of the articles that we read mentioned the election.
Yeah, it did.
And about how turbulent this election has been. And we're not going to talk politics on the podcast.
No.
But all we're saying is that regardless of what side you're on, this has been a horrible year for politics. And we have been...
Here in the U.S.
In the U.S.,
Here in the U.S.,
we've
been horrible.
Figuratively beaten down by politics and just by this dismal outcome in the States. And so people kind of were like, I don't want to go to this place.
Yeah. Well, it's been interesting because like, I feel like the movies we've been choosing lately and stuff, I feel like we've been kind of choosing things that are a little bit happier. And I think it's just because of the times that we're living in right now.
Yeah.
It's like, I don't need any more stress in my life.
You use the right word right there. Stress.
Yeah.
Because you and I can watch dark things and be fine. We can watch Scream for Halloween and be fine.
Yeah.
That's a slasher film with a lot of violence. That's different. Thematic stress though. The Walking Dead, that episode was stressful.
It was. Seriously, my body was stressed. Like I was stressed watching it. And I was like, part of it, I was like covering my eyes because I was like, I can't handle it. And there got to be a certain point I was like, nope, done.
Yeah,
and both of us said it like literally at the same time. We're like, nope,
we're done. That's
okay,
it.
turn it off. Done. And it's sad because we have journeyed with these characters, especially people like Glenn, for such a long time. And we've, seen them grow and seen them go through all these horrible situations. But now it's just like, you know what? It's not worth it.
Yeah.
It's not worth the stress of going through that.
The next day when I went to work, a friend of mine came to me and said the exact same thing that you and I are saying. The exact verbiage, exact everything. He's like, it's too stressful. It's not entertaining. Thematically wrong. They stepped over the line with the violence. And another friend of mine said, oh, you don't read the comics then, do you? And I go, screw you. Yes, I do read the comics.
Right.
He's like, well, then you would have known it was coming. I was like, well, there was multiple reasons why I knew it was coming. He's like, well, then why you're angry? I said, because thematically, it's a middle finger to the audience.
Right.
And then he kept bringing up the comics. And I was like, listen, we're talking about the TV show.
Right.
Not the comics. It's not a literal transcription. Okay, there's a lot of things that happen in the comics that don't happen in the TV show. There's a lot of things that happen in the TV show that don't happen in the comics. And the filmmakers, the producers, know that. And so they know that they're different journeys.
Right.
And so what they did, even if it was like in the comics, is thematically wrong for the TV show.
Right. And you have to consider they are different mediums. You have to consider that too, is that they've chosen to not show certain things in the television show because of that. It's still on AMC, you still have to consider that. And also, I mean, with the comic books, okay, you get past a frame and then you can move on. Whereas if they're prolonging this torture porn for that long, I can't just flip a page.
Right.
I'm either going to watch it or I'm going to turn it off. And that's what we decided to do.
Right. And yeah, that's exactly, we hit stop and we moved on and now we're done.
Yeah. Which it was one of our only shows.
I know, we're running out of TV.
We really are.
We have Bob's Burgers.
Well, it's light.
Yeah.
It's not stressful. So.
And we have House of Cards coming.
That's right.
There we go.
House of Cards.
Those are because with Mad Men off the air, oh man.
I know. I know. Yeah, it's true.
It's rough time. So yeah, that's our reasoning. I mean that is why. And hopefully you guys aren't walking away from this discussion thinking, oh, they just can't handle violence. It is much more than that.
No, it's I don't know. It's like they were cruel to a character that we'd been cared about for so long, and they promised us that he was going to be okay this season. don't know.
It was like I keep using the word thematically. It was thematically wrong. It was a middle finger to the audience.
Way too graphic.
It was way too graphic. It erased what happened in the previous season. And moving forward, it makes you think, well, if they did this in the first episode of season 7, if they make it to season 8, what are they going to do there?
Well, right. Like, how much further are they going to go? If this was the opening episode, it's only going to get worse.
It's only going to get worse, yeah. And I don't want to be around to find out.
No.
And it makes me think about like my dad.
Yeah, I actually brought that up to you. It was
Yeah.
like when your dad stopped watching, it was when in Terminus when they were slaughtering people like over a trough
With another baseball bat.
And that was a harsh scene.
That was a very graphic scene.
That was graphic.
Like there was like 6 men all over a trough and they were hitting them over the head one by one and the camera did not cut away.
Nope. Yeah, you
And-
saw each one die.
And my dad just went, nope, and then got up and walked away and probably put on some cartoons like we did.
Probably, and he never watched it again.
Nope, he's done.
Yeah, he was done at that point.
That was 2 seasons ago, I think.
Yeah.
Something like that.
Yeah, at least. And so I get it.
Mm-hmm.
I totally get it. And, people are like, well, you lasted this long,
Mm-hmm.
Well, no, there's a certain line for everyone. And that was our line.
I feel like the trough thing was the beginning of the end of The Walking Dead.
I think so too. I feel like that's when we started. Well, I mean, the governor had those moments too. But remember, even that violence, it was like there was some violence towards people, but it also was like about the zombies still. Like there was still like, they were like, having the zombies fight each other and stuff like that. I feel like we've totally it's like the zombies are like so totally side storyline, barely, I don't know.
And one of my favorite scenes, and I think that, I can't remember, this might have been the episode before Terminus. It was when Daryl was hooked up with that other gang.
Oh, yeah.
And it was at the end when that leader of that gang cornered Michonne, Rick, and Carl, and they threatened to hurt Carl in more ways than one.
Yeah.
And then Rick was, had his back up against a wall, not literally, and he didn't know what to do, and so he turns around and bites the dude's jugular out, and then just massacres those people. Now, some of you might be thinking, oh, Tristan, how is that your favorite scene? Like, you're a hypocrite because that's person-on-person violence.
It is.
But the thing is yes, that's true, but thematically, it was not a middle finger to the audience. Thematically, it was a reward. And they cut away. It was entertaining.
Right.
It was not stressful.
You didn't know that character.
Yeah.
It was, it was a villain. I don't know. It just...
So they can do violence in a different way.
Yeah, and I could still watch that.
Yeah.
It was graphic, but this was just too much.
Too much.
It was too much, just in every way.
Yep, absolutely. All right, well, we're going to move on from this.
Yes.
But that's our reasoning, and I would love to know what you guys think, what the fans think. Like, if you watch The Walking Dead, and if you don't, what are you still doing listening to this segment? But if you do and you're still going or you're not still going, let us know. Because no judgment. Everybody has their limit. Yeah. Like, I'm not going to blame people for continuing to watch.
No, that was our line.
That's our line. That's our personal line. And so, yeah, what you can do is you can go to thenerdparty.com/contact, select Nerd Nuptial, send us an email. Let us know. What do you think of it? Like, was it too much for you? Are you quitting? Or are you still going on because you've invested so much time with them? Mm-hmm. Or do you think we're crazy? Either way, let us know.
That's right.
You can also reach out to us on Twitter at Join Nerd Party. All right, so Westworld.
Yeah.
The Slutty Cowboy. That's what I call it.
That's totally going to be the name of it.
It's going to be the name of the show now. It's probably going to be the name of this episode.
Probably. Well, okay, so you watched the episode first.
Yes, I did.
Because you had heard, well, we watched the trailer for it, and then you're like, HBO. I don't know.
Yeah.
Like, will she like this? Plus, HBO tends to, we're a little bit of prudes when it comes to, the gratuitous sex that they always throw in there for HBO. But you decided, you're like, yeah, you know what? This is pretty interesting. It's really pretty good sci-fi. Mm-hmm. So let's give it a shot.
Well, it was actually, there was a little bit more backstory to it than
really?
that. Yeah, like what happened, like you and I saw the trailer and we were really intrigued, but then we knew immediately that the tone of the trailer and also the stories behind it were like, oh, this can have so much sex. And then reports came out that there was going to have rape in it. And I was just like, what is it, HBO? What is wrong with you? Like, why must you have rape in every single one of your shows? This is insane.
Yeah, that's another line of ours. We can't do that.
Yeah,
we can't do the rape thing.
No, and so it's just it just put me off, and I was like, okay, well, I guess I'm not going to watch it, because I was so sick of high concept coming up with high vulgarity. I was like, why does it have to be mutually exclusive? And then the episode premiered, and a friend of mine came to me and said it was atrocious. It was horrible. They said it was just about rape. That's all it was. Like, there was storylines just about rape. And I was floored. I was like, okay, well, like, suspicions confirmed. And I went and complained to a friend of mine, and he's like, well, I'm still going to watch it. And I was like, why would you still want to watch it? He's like, because your friends are probably overreacting. I was like, no, multiple people have come to me and said that. He's like, yeah. And then, like, you were out with your mother for one day, and I was like, okay, well, if I'm gonna watch it, if maybe my friends are overreacting. Like, if it gets too much, I'll just turn it off and then I'll walk away. But if I'm gonna watch it, I'll watch it now, so you don't get like freaked out by anything like that. And I watched it, and I'm like, oh, wow, my friends really did overreact, like, a lot.
That wasn't what it was about.
No, not at all.
No.
Like, not in the least. And there was an implied sexual assault scene, but it was seen through the reflection of somebody's eye, and somebody, like, one character dragged another character into a barn, and then they shut the door, and then that was it.
Right.
That was it.
Right. It was implied, but not confirmed necessarily.
Actually, as we watch more episodes, you're not quite sure if he did actually sexually assault her in that barn. Right.
You're not really 100% sure.
Right.
Yeah. So then you're like, okay, I think you watched 2 episodes.
I watched the first 2 episodes, and I was like, okay, this is intriguing. This is an intriguing concept. And so we're about to get into spoiler territory, but we just wanted to let you guys know, just because some people don't like, like, spoiler-filled reviews. If you're thinking about watching it, it's worth your time.
Yeah, I think so too. If you like sci-fi, I think that, in this, artificial intelligence idea, I think that it's really cool. And I think it's well done.
It's very well done. It's well shot.
Yeah.
It's well produced.
It's got great actors.
It's got J.J. Abrams style mysteries.
Yeah, and some actors.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so, we're about to get in spoiler territory, but this is our quick summary. Give it a shot. It's good. It's not the best thing ever.
No, and there's certain things that we're like, that would have been better.
It could be a lot better. Yeah, but it's good. It's worth your time. Give it a shot. So here we go. Spoiler territory. You have been warned. Spoiler, right. Spoiler. So we just got done watching episode 5, but let's go ahead and lead up to that. So
okay.
Westworld, what do you think? What do you think so far? Like, what's intriguing to you?
I think that the idea of, I know that was like in the 70s. It was a
it was a movie.
It was a movie in the 70s,
yes,
right?
With Yul Brynner, yeah.
Right. So it was
very basic. It was not basic. It was a good movie. It's very much, there's this world. It's a park. There's tons of robots. You can do whatever you want. You can kill them. You can sleep with them. No consequences. But they can't hurt you.
Right.
But then all of a sudden the robots revolt, and then it's a 70s sci-fi movie.
Sure. Well, I really like the characters so far. I think they're well developed and interesting, and which is interesting because they technically have a different storyline every single time. Different, they wake up. Other than if they're like on the same journey as the guest, correct?
Right.
So, I really like the character Delores. She's really pulled me in.
I think she's kind of the protagonist, wouldn't you say?
I think so.
Yeah.
I think so. Or at least that's the direction.
And that's Evan Rachel Wood's character.
Yeah. I really like her. Which sometimes you're like, okay, will I like this, female lead? But I like her a lot. I also like the Teddy character.
James Marsden character, Teddy.
Yeah. I like those
Who's
characters.
Paired up with with Delores.
And I think the Ed Harris character of the Man in Black is really interesting too. Yeah. Well, if it's a JJ show, you have to have a Man in Black.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I really like Bernard.
Yeah, I do too.
The lead programmer, I think would you call him, and Anthony Hopkins, of course, is.
I mean, come on, it's Anthony Hopkins.
Tour de force.
Right.
You know, like I know everybody overuses that term, but Anthony Hopkins is a force of nature.
Yeah.
And he absolutely delivers in this show. I don't know how they got him.
I know. It's a good cast. It's a really good cast.
It's fantastic.
Yeah. I don't know the guy's name, but he's from House of Cards. He's the hacker.
I know. I can't remember
from
his
House
name
of Cards.
either.
His name's William on the show.
Mm-hmm.
I think I like him way better in this show than I do in House of Cards.
Yes, like his character
Yeah.
is much more likable in Westworld. He's kind of the audience.
Yes.
Like he is like he's not introduced until episode 2, and we see a little bit of the outside world, but it's not really the outside world because it's just
Right.
like the entrance of the park. And so we're along for the ride with the train ride into the to the lobby, and then he gets dressed and he picks a hat and then he goes into the park. And so we are experiencing the park through his eyes as a first timer.
Right.
And that's a very good plot device to have.
Absolutely. Yeah, and I think that it's interesting because this show has made us talk a lot more about it than other shows that we've watched recently. So we've had like discussions where like, well, what about the levels? Okay, so there's the maintenance level.
Yeah.
And then
We're talking logistics
right?
and
Like,
everything.
there's there a level of like people coming to the park, right? Or no, like the level where they can maintenance the park.
Yeah.
And then there's the level where the guests can get to the park, and then there's the park. So like, how many levels are there? And then like they mentioned like 80 some levels.
They said sub-level 83,
Sub-levels.
which means that they have skyscrapers embedded into the ground.
Right. Because they have to be able to access all the different areas of the park. So it's just really fascinating to think about.
And they have gigantic earth movers to build new areas of the park, which makes you wonder how expansive this place actually is.
Right.
When they have bullet trains underneath to get from place to place.
Yeah. So it's very fascinating. It's a cool concept. We also talked about the logistics of the maintenance of the park
And laundry.
Yeah.
Like my brain, I cannot get my brain cannot wrap around. I mean,
laundry.
I know we're talking about a world filled with near sentient robots that you can sleep with and kill and hang out with, and it costs $40,000 a day.
Which we didn't like. The fact that they name a price, it's kind of like,
Yeah, I didn't like that they named a price, and then like we have these. Just like they can make horses from scratch, and like they bathe them in milk that puts the skin on them. And Tristan Riddell, I'm like, how do they take care of the laundry? Like, what?
I think it's because we let our laundry go so long in our house. There's like a pile, and then we're like, oh gosh, we'll never get through this. I think that's what is over. I think it's like nightmares of our own laundry that is like freaking you out about the show.
If we lived in Westworld, we'd never have to worry about laundry because. Like that's the thing is that like you shoot somebody in Westworld and then they drop to the ground, and then some worker comes at midnight and like picks them up, takes them downstairs, and then strips them, hoses them down. They have to patch their wounds, redress them, and
like
then
the manpower. The manpower involved. I mean, we were talking about like I almost would rather have seen like an assembly line of them, like I don't know, either like scoop them up from the floor or from the sky, and then like putting them all through like an assembly line where like they kind of just, I don't know. I mean, I know it's more tactile to have them actually like stitch up these beings that are bleed and have, you know, we assume some type of organs.
Like wetware is
right.
What they call it,
yeah, something. But at the same time, the logistics of it just does not make sense at all.
See, to me, like what I suggested was, and they didn't call me and ask my opinion, which I don't know why they didn't.
I mean, come on.
But it's just like, if they're robots, you know, like shooting them in the heart, they don't really have a heart.
Right.
And so they're still functional after you shoot them.
True.
So why not at midnight have them stand back up, walk to their nearest service center, and then have that assembly line, and then they walk themselves back.
Right.
Why don't they do that? You know, like, it's just there.
Yeah.
These are the type of questions that I don't think are going to be answered because they know that the normal person does not give a crap.
But we do.
We do.
Well, even like we were talking about Delores in her house, like putting away her laundry. And I was like, okay, does that matter? Because no guest is there to see it.
I described it as, I think Westworld is a watch that you wind and let run.
Right. And so whatever happens to them, whether it's with the robot or with a guest, it's just like, this is what happens. It's not like they're just like waiting for a guest to arrive, like
right.
an animatronic.
Yeah.
They go about their lives. So it's just interesting. It's interesting to talk about.
Yeah. That's the thing. This show is very interesting to talk about and theorize about and speculate about. And not a lot of shows get you talking. It's very much, oh, that's what happened in the show. Did you like it? Yes. Did you like it? No. And then you move on.
Right.
With this one, you're like, what does it mean? Why are they doing this? And that's the beauty of a J.J. Abrams show.
I was just going to say that.
Yeah.
Yeah. It brings me back to the lost theories that, I loved so much and never were really answered.
Now, we shouldn't give all the credit to J.J. Abrams because he is an executive producer, but he's not the showrunner. The showrunner is Jonathan Nolan, which is Chris Nolan's brother.
I mean, that's pretty awesome.
Yeah, right?
Right?
Yeah.
I mean, you got JJ and Nolan.
Yeah, JJ and a Nolan. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's fantastic.
Yeah, we're on board.
Yeah.
Yeah, I enjoy it a lot. I mean, the last episode, it had a little bit more. I mean, you do see some. Okay, like there was like the orgy house, whatever, the brothel.
Let's get into that. Like, so we're talking about episode 5 of Contrapasso. This episode, this
is my least favorite.
Yeah, this was my least favorite episode. I feel like it started off strong. It had some surprises. We had a really cool, interesting conversation between the Man in Black and Anthony Hopkins.
Yes.
Which was completely spoiled in the previews. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, HBO.
Yeah, because that was a cool moment.
That was the best moment of the episode.
Yeah.
But like every single HBO show, every single modern HBO show, it's like their people in the head office call up the show and say, "Did you have the orgy episode yet?" "No, we're getting to it." "Did you have it yet?" "No, stop asking." He's like, "We'll put it in now." But it doesn't fit the premise of the episode. "I don't care, put it in."
Okay, well, we'll just have a conversation on some couches clothed, our main characters, and then in the background, we'll just have a bunch of butts.
You joke? But that's
all
like
it was.
that's the 6th time that I've seen that in an HBO show, where you have characters who are clothed progressing the plot just because they're talking, and then people are just banging around them. Like a swarm of genitalia just floating.
I know, and it's like, I'm trying to focus on the conversation, and there's like this genitalia passing. I'm like, oh my gosh, why?
And then in the scene before, there's actual genitalia just right in the foreground, right up against, almost up against the lens, and you're like, good Lord, why is this happening? And anyway, and I feel like they had to pack it all into this episode.
I feel like it too.
Because in episodes 1 through 3,
it was very tame.
Or 1 through 4, it was tame for HBO.
Tame for HBO, yeah.
Yeah.
But okay.
Tame is not the right word.
I know it wasn't tame, but for HBO, because of what you have come to expect because of an HBO show,
yeah,
it was definitely more tame.
I feel like we've become so desensitized.
I know.
I feel defeated that we said it was tame. Episodes 1 through 4 were tame, just because it didn't have literal genitalia up against the lens.
Well, it's interesting because this show, there's a lot of nudity.
Mm-hmm. But it's non-sexual.
It is because of the maintenance. It's like, or when they talk to one of the robots, then they're naked. Mm-hmm. But it's not in a sexual way at all.
No,
they're just there.
That doesn't bother me.
No, it doesn't bother me at all.
Except when you put their genitalia right up against the lens. I've said that like 4 times now, and I need to move on.
It's hard.
It's hard, yeah. It's difficult, yeah. It's So anyway, moving on from that, yeah, like it's just you. I feel like they got it out of their system.
Yeah, I think so too.
And so I feel like the next episode will have none of that.
Probably, because I really do feel like this was the orgy episode.
Yeah, they're like, it feels like the producers are like, okay, corporate's calling us. They're telling us we got to put it in. Let's just get it over with.
Yeah.
But besides that, which is so weird, it's such a weird phrase. Okay, so besides the orgy, what did you like? Tell me.
I'm really enjoying Delores when she has these flashes to see what was, or maybe what in her past, like a past time that she's maybe been in this place or in this situation.
Or who's talking to her.
Yeah. It's very interesting. And I also am really enjoying her, almost like her subconscious taking a role of like talking to her. I think that's really interesting. Like when she like opened up her arm and like was freaking out, and then she looked down and it wasn't that way. I think that type of stuff. Or like there was one episode where she got shot, but then she looked down and she wasn't shot, and then she ran away. It was like, or like when she saw her father, but it was not her father. It was a different father from a different time.
It was like the timelines are blending, and she doesn't know what's real, what's a memory, what's history, what's present. And they cut it together very well. Yeah. Where you weren't lost. You knew what was going on.
Yeah, and even as they progress, that is happening more, and it's interesting. And I you're kind of with her on that journey to figure out, okay, she's trying to figure out, just like the Man in Black, what is at the center of the maze.
And this is like, it's very interesting to see her arc. And it's also, I'm along for the ride with the Man in Black more than I thought I was going to be.
Yeah, I think the point where they had me with him was when that other guest mentioned that he was like a philanthropist. And
the guest came up to him at a campfire and said, I gotta tell you, because of your foundation, my sister is still alive. And then he's like, get away from me. This is my vacation.
Yeah, it's so interesting because it's like in the real world, he's this, wonderful person, but then he comes to Westworld to be the Man in Black and kind of just to explore the seedy underbelly of this world and to play it. It's like in a video game when you have the choice to play it as a villain or as the good guy.
It did make me think of that, because with BioWare games like Mass Effect and Knights of the Old Republic and everything like that, you can play good, you can play bad, you can play down the middle, and sometimes playing bad is easier and it can be fun, but at the same time, most of the time when I play bad, I can't bring myself to be a straight up bastard, because I get invested in it and I'm like, I can't do this. No, this is immoral. I can't do it. And so I move on. And so I could not. It makes you ask the question, could you do those things in Westworld because you knew it was fake? And my answer is no.
Well, but it's interesting because you have to think about it this way. He said he's been coming there for 30 years. So he's probably played it the good way so many times that at this point in his life, he's like, what do I have to lose? I'm going to play it the bad way. I'm going to play this game every way I can possibly play it. And I mean, who hasn't played a video game that way if they played it over and over and over again?
Exactly.
So it's very interesting to see that. And going back to the Anthony Hopkins conversation, this is very interesting to see, well, first of all, they're letting him do basically anything he wants to do in the park, because I'm assuming because he's super rich and he comes there all the time.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. But it is interesting that it's almost like this fight between them of like, what are you going to put in my way now? Like, what are you going to test me with? I'm getting too good at your game, at your world that you've created. Like, give me a challenge.
That scene is the scene that made me reconsider the Man in Black, because when he's introduced to us in the first episode, you just think that he's some bored guest who wants to rape and pillage, literally. And he's just like, he's just a monster.
A villain. He's just like, one-dimensional villain.
Yeah, he's just a monster. He's just quote-unquote blowing off steam. But that scene between him and Anthony Hopkins, when he pulled out his knife and he pointed it at, there's two things awesome about that scene.
Yeah.
When he pointed it at Anthony Hopkins, and then Teddy, James Marsden character, just goes into complete automation mode and then grabs a knife, shoves it down into the table so it can't even get close to Anthony Hopkins, reminds you that Anthony Hopkins created this park and nothing there will ever harm him.
Right. He has control over everything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that was a very well done scene.
It was.
And on top of that, when the Man in Black, when Ed Harris pulled out his knife, he's done a couple of times before, he pointed it at Anthony Hopkins and said, I wonder if I open you up, what would I find? And then we go back, like in our memories, we go back to the previous time times when Ed Harris pulls out his knife. He does it in front of Maeve in the flashback scene.
Yes.
When she has her daughter and the shotgun. And then he does it in the barn with Delores. And so it makes you wonder, were those scenes about sexual assault? I don't think so anymore. I think it was his way of... Now, I'm not saying this is any better because...
Right, I mean, it's still violence.
It's still violence, but I think what he... In those situations, I think he literally opened them up as if they were machines, because they are machines, to try to discover something new, or maybe he has something to do with those laser devices in their arms. Maybe that's what he's doing. He's cutting them up and implanting those devices, or he's cutting them up just to learn, because we saw him scalp somebody to find the maze, like the diagram of the maze. Mm-hmm. And so I feel like they did that on purpose with that Anthony Hopkins scene to show you that there is more to this guy than just raping and pillaging. If he even does that.
We just don't know.
We don't know.
We don't know. I mean, it was inferred, but we just don't know.
Maybe they inferred it. I feel like this show is smart enough to infer something like that, but then also play on our inference.
Yeah.
Because, it's an HBO show. Of course it's going to be about rape, but maybe it's about something more.
Maybe it is. Yeah. That's an interesting idea. Yeah, I don't know. And I think that just putting him, I mean, yes, he's a villain, but at the same time, he is an explorer who just wants to basically figure out the game. Mm-hmm. So it's an interesting concept. How do you feel about Lawrence Alonso?
Yeah.
Turning up?
I thought that was cool. I thought that was very interesting because we've been with him for a couple of episodes now. Right. And we thought that he was that was going to be the end of it. But then we move on to this to reveal that he is a much bigger character in this scheme. He's not done. And so I was pleased. I was more pleased to see him than I thought it was going to be. Yeah,
me too. And I feel like it gives him a little bit more power because now we're seeing him not, strung along by the man in black, literally. Mm-hmm. But we see him in this powerful position.
Yeah, he's a schemer. He's intelligent.
Right.
Yeah,
right.
I thought that was very interesting, and because I didn't really care for him when he was with the man in black.
No, I didn't care either.
He was just some guy. But then that reveal was really cool when he shows up and you're like, oh, he's the Alonso character. Mm-hmm. He's the, everything like that. So yeah, I thought that was well played.
I think so too.
Well played.
Yeah. I think that the direction they're going is interesting to me, and I'm still on board. Mm-hmm. Like I said, I think this past episode was probably their weakest.
Yes. And we're reaching the middle because there's 10 episodes and this was episode 5.
That's true.
And so they're dipping down, and so but with that dip, hopefully is going to be coming back up.
Yeah. But I wonder, because I feel like maybe some of the discovery of what the place was in those previous episodes. So like discovering like, okay, well, Bernard's kind of having these secret conversations with Delores, which is interesting. Mm-hmm. And, okay, we're discovering new things about the robots of like waking up, in the middle of being maintenance and stuff like that. So I wonder, I didn't see a ton of that in this episode. So I wonder if that's part of the reason why I didn't find it as interesting.
Now, speaking of which, what did you think about Maeve waking up again at the end of the episode?
I liked that a lot.
What did you like about it?
I liked the fact that it's like she planned it. Mm-hmm. It's like, because, when the last episode, how it ended was she knew there was a bullet inside her, and she was like, cut it out. I will show you there is a bullet. I know it's proof. I'm not mad. And then it's like she keeps hurting herself to get back to that place so that they can have that conversation. Like she can actually ask someone about it. So I thought that was really interesting.
In the episode before, I was I'm falling more and more in love with Maeve's character.
Me too.
Because at the beginning, I thought she was just, again, going to be one-dimensional. She's the madam and whatever, she's the one who gets hurt. But then we start to realize that these characters are so much more. All of them are so much more. Yeah. Every single one of them.
And how do you feel about, because I feel like typically in a show like this, one person is the one who, like it would just be Delores who's kind of having these memories. Mm-hmm. But there's others who are, Maeve is having them as well. I would say those are the two main ones.
Maeve and Delores, absolutely. Yeah.
So how do you feel about them kind of simultaneously discovering maybe that there's something more out there?
I feel like it's almost necessary because Delores is out on a journey with William and his friend, or not so much friend.
Right.
And then you have Mavis, who's in Sweetwater most of the time, and also like she's connecting with the technicians more than Delores is. And so I feel like you need, because there is so much going on, because there's so much of Westworld above and below the ground, you almost need to have more than one person having that existential crisis.
Yeah. Well, and I feel like even the discovery of like, you know, what's the character's name? She was on Raising Hope.
I can't remember the character's name. She was Sabrina on Raising Hope.
Yeah, but
she's the female tech who's like the right hand of Bernard.
Right. Her discovering things as well, I think that's also needed because it's like from that other side where we're seeing her discovery, and you know they're not necessarily wanting to give her as much access, but she's finding it because she's smart. And I think it's interesting. It's interesting because in the 1970s show, you told me that there were, you know, multiple worlds. It wasn't just Westworld.
Yeah, they had like a medieval world and something else. I can't remember.
Right. Whereas I think it's nice that it's just focused on this world because otherwise it would get too jumbled. It would get too like messy.
Tonally, it would be very different because we'd have to jump back and forth between vistas, and it just wouldn't work.
Right. Whereas I feel like just going with this, it's like we can invest all of our energy into this world. Now, I imagine that there's other worlds, you know, with other theme parks, possibly.
I don't know.
Maybe.
Know. It kind of makes it sound like it's proprietary.
Maybe.
Where Anthony Hopkins' technology is this because
that's
this
true.
was just introduced. This storyline
True.
was just introduced in the 5th episode, Contrapasso. I'm probably saying that wrong. Where in a few of these robots, they find a laser link device that passes information outside of the park.
Like a GPS type thing.
Now, what kind of information that is, we have no idea. Whether it's information about the park running or about the robots themselves, we have no idea. But with a corporation this advanced and this profitable and this secretive, you know that there's going to be corporate espionage going on.
Sure. Everyone wants Willy Wonka's chocolate.
That is exactly right. Except chocolate means something very different here.
That's true. It means slutty cowboys.
Slutty cowboys, that's right.
That's right.
So, one thing that I want to talk about before we go is a fan theory.
Okay.
Now, for those of you...
There are many, I know.
There are a lot of fan theories out there,
right.
And the producers are saying, oh, you're getting close, but you're not quite there yet. They could be lying. I'm about to talk about a fan theory that actually pissed me off when I heard it because it sounds super plausible. And it hasn't been debunked yet from watching it. So if you don't want to hear any fan theories, go ahead and skip to the end and go to iTunes and give us a 5-star review.
Shameless.
I know. I'm sorry. Well, you can give us any review that you want, but if you give us a 5-star review, we'll mention you on the show. Like go. Sean Dorman. So the fan theory is that William, the actor from House of Cards, who's with Delores right now, is actually a younger version of the Man in Black.
Only 30 years ago.
And so some of you are like, how is that possible? Well, they never share the same space. And they keep referencing a major malfunction that happened 30 years ago. Now, it's not Andrew. What's his name? Arnold. Not Arnold's death. That was 35 years ago. And so it was after the opening of the park, 5 years into it, where they had a major malfunction. Like Anthony Hopkins mentions it, Bernard mentions it, some of the techs mention it. And 30 years ago, that actor would be about the same age as Ed Harris. And Ed Harris himself said, I've been coming around for 30 years.
Right, like 30 is thrown around a lot.
That number, it keeps getting thrown around. And so some people are saying like when William came in and through the dressing room and that one woman said, okay, now choose your hat. It's like they had black on one side and light on the other. He chose the light hat. And then I think in the 3rd or 4th episode, his friend said, come on, go black hat with me.
Yeah.
Meaning go evil with me.
Right.
And we're seeing that progression of William, especially in episode 5, when he starts to play the game and he starts to shoot unarmed men. He starts to, get into fights and everything like that. He's not evil, but he's getting more violent.
Right.
He's turning more black hat. And so, we haven't seen any of the techs with William.
Mm-hmm.
Like, we haven't seen Sabrina. I know that's not her name.
I know it's not her name.
We haven't seen Bernard with
Right.
him or anything like that. Nobody who would date themselves has been with
Right.
William.
It's true. Yeah, and even thinking about it, you know, in this past episode when he even mentions about Delores, he's like, there's something more there. Like, I'm telling you, she's not just a doll. There's something more there. Wouldn't that kind of spark an interest to open up, you know, one of these robots? Wouldn't it, you know, spark the interest of like, what is more there? Especially if you keep playing.
So what if Dolores's awakening was 30 years ago? That was the major malfunction. 30 years later, it's Mavis's awakening that is the next major malfunction.
I think that that's entirely plausible.
It's entirely plausible. Doesn't mean it's true.
No.
But it's really fascinating to think about.
Because they don't really interact.
No, they have not debunked. Yeah, like, I've been watching very carefully.
I know.
And they have. I cannot.
Will you be angry or will you be pleased if that's the situation?
I'm getting to the point where I'll be pleased.
Okay.
I like that's
because it makes sense to me.
Yeah. When my friend told me, I said I was like, I'm going to be pissed off if you're right, because that sounds really plausible. But now I'm getting to the point where no, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
I hope it's something that we have not thought of. I hope that it's something that the fans, even in our collective consciousness, can't think of yet.
Okay, but you have to be careful with that with JJ, because sometimes the fans have better ideas than he does when we get further and further into his shows. So hold that theory.
Let's hope Jonathan
and just
Nolan.
hope that they go with that.
Let's hope Jonathan Nolan has been learning from his brother as much as possible and realizes that the JJ way is not always the best way.
Yeah, because sometimes I feel like JJ tried so hard to like screw with our heads that it didn't make sense. Then it was like, well, that would have made a lot more sense if you just went with the fan theory. But yeah,
that's the thing, is that right, like that's like maybe Dolores's awakening was 30 years ago, and today it's not really happening today because we haven't seen her quote interact that differently with the Tex and the whole father thing. Like, William hasn't interacted with her new father or her old father, so there's no grounding there.
True.
So I don't know.
Maeve and she have not interacted as far as I can remember.
No, Maeve and Delores has interacted,
but not in a way where,
not in an existential way where.
Like she did with one of her friends in the brothel.
Right.
It's not the same level.
No, yeah, that's the thing. Like when Maeve interacted with Dolores was having her existential crisis, but Maeve wasn't.
Right.
And when Maeve was going through her existential crisis, Dolores wasn't even there. So it could possibly be that.
It could.
Like, where William is going to be, because we know that William is a man of business.
Right.
He's the executive vice president of some company.
Right. But that could be anything.
That could mean anything, and so he could one day rise to run the company because they're making it sound like he's marrying into a family who owns that company.
That's what it sounds like.
And so maybe one day he rises to power in that company and then becomes a billionaire and then goes back as much as he can.
It's entirely possible.
Yeah, that's
entirely possible. Yeah.
As of right now,
this
it's
episode,
possible.
I didn't realize. I don't think we saw it as much, but like the guest can actually get beat up.
Yeah.
I didn't really make that connection before this point.
Well, no, because our frame of reference was really only the Man in Black, and the Man in Black, it just was little puffs of smoke against him, which maybe that's another sign that it's 30 years ago when they were like, oh, maybe we got to tone this down. Maybe. Because William's associate, his friend, was almost getting strangled. They were getting bruises on the cheek from getting punched. Yeah. Yeah. And when William got shot, he got knocked over.
He got a bruise.
It was like a rubber bullet.
Yeah, it was. So I don't know. It's interesting.
Yeah. I'm
and
wondering.
if that's the case, I'd be terrified.
Well, that's the thing, is that and then at the end of the episode, they're beating the crap out of his associate. Yeah. And he says, he's like, help me. And William says no and turns around. Right. So
what happened to him?
Is that guy going to get a beating? Is that guest going to get a beating? That's kind of what
it seems.
That can't happen, right?
You followed this path and you go too far out into the park and you can get hurt. That's what it kind of sounds like. I mean, if you can have sex, couldn't you get beaten? I don't know. They keep saying that you can't get hurt here. They keep saying oh, you just kill him if you don't want to deal with him. Or maybe
anymore.
that's part of the malfunction.
I don't
know. Who knows?
Could be.
Who knows?
Who knows? Well, there you go. So we talked a lot about Walking Dead and Westworld, and we'd love to hear what you guys think. Do you have any fan theories?
Yeah, we'd love to hear them.
Reach out to us. Email us. Go to thenerdparty.com/contact. Hit Nerd Party, and then from there, fill out the form, and that'll send us an email. Please let us know what you think and what you think might happen, and what you think of what has already happened, and what would you do in Westworld?
Do we want to know?
You know what? I don't want to know. Leave that to yourselves. I'd go fishing. That's what I would do. Actually, no, what I would do is stay the hell away from Westworld. That's what I would do.
Right, seriously.
I'd go back to my video games. It's safe there.
That's right.
All right. Well, like as I said at the top of the show, please check out some of our other shows. We have a lot of shows on the Nerd Party Network. And please also go to nerdsandbeyond.com. It's a great news source, quick, concise news, always up to date. Also, please go to lootcrate.com/nerdparty. From there, you can get a Geek Box subscription service. We've used it. We love it. You get about $40 worth of merchandise. And this month's theme is magic, magicians, and mystery and things like that. So you'll get $40 worth of merchandise for less than $20. And if you go to lootcrate.com/nerdparty, enter in code nerdparty, you'll save even more money off of that. Well, thank you so much for listening and downloading and subscribing.
I love you.
I know.
Bring her back online.